Wonderful. Perfect. All right. So the title of today's discussion is The Holy Ego, Remembering God in Your Eye. Okay. The Holy Ego, Remembering God in Your Eye. Hit one more button and good to go. All right. The moment you stop trying to erase yourself in the name of spirituality, you make space for the divine to reveal itself through you. The purified ego is not inflated with pride. It is emptied of illusion. It no longer demands to be worshipped, for it knows it is already one with what is holy. The false ego seeks validation. The true ego is revelation, the awareness that says, I and the Father are one, and lives from that knowing. It no longer hides behind masks of humility and fear. It stands radiant, unapologetic, and fully alive. Okay? It was never about becoming less. It was about becoming real. That divine acceptance of who you are, right? The mask you wore was never protection, only separation. When it dissolves, God is no longer a distant deity, but the pulse within your being. Every breath, every desire, every moment becomes divine expression. That is what the mystics meant by union. Not losing yourself, but remembering yourself. The one that has always been both human and holy. Vessel and vastness, right? The word made flesh, remembering its own name, right? It's interesting when we talk about the word made flesh because you are the word made flesh, right? You are the word made flesh. Also, the words that you speak are the words that become made flesh, right? Absolutely beautiful. Absolutely beautiful. All right, so the sin of forgetting. Let's talk about this, all right? Because when we talk about ego, I'm taking a different approach on the conversations about ego, right? Because lately, y'all been triggering me. Not really. But lately, there have been a lot of questions, or the pushback is always, my ego is doing this. My ego is trying to show me the old story. And we keep making this ego into this monster, into this big bad wolf that's here to steal, kill, and destroy and take away what you want, right? You went from believing that there was a devil out there to an ego within you that was trying to stop you, to a subconscious mind that was holding you back from what you want, all right? So we're going to talk about the ego in a different light today. We're going to talk about the holiness of the ego, how you couldn't even exist without the ego. So why are you damning, right? Why are you demonizing a part of you that is just helping you survive? You couldn't experience the illusion of separation and get to know the love that you are without the ego. Okay? So let's talk about this. Humanity's greatest sin was never pride. It was amnesia. When we talk about the quote unquote fall, right? The fall wasn't a fall into sin. It was a fall into forgetfulness. The biting of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil was simply it's a representation, a metaphysical representation of your falling into duality. Okay, if you think of Adam was given the task of what? Naming the animals. Adam represented the conscious mind. Well, one of the metaphysical definitions. If you ask 10 people what Adam and Eve, Garden of Eden meant, you're going to get 10 different stories. They're going to talk about gender roles. They're going to talk about the Anunnaki. But one of the metaphysical meanings is Adam represents the conscious mind, Eve the subconscious. All right? And so Adam is given this divine task and is told, okay, name the animals. You get to name everything. The same way with your consciousness, you look out in reality and you're constantly naming things. You say, this means that. Well, what is this situation? This means that. Well, what is that situation? That means that. This is the task of the conscious mind. And so when you bit from the tree of the knowledge of good and evil, what that represents is simply you start judging things as right and wrong, good or bad. When you were in the Garden of Eden, you were in complete unity, oneness. You ain't worried about anything. You just ran around butt-ass naked, provided for by Source, in union with Source. I ain't work for no food. I ain't work for no money. You are pure prosperity, pure divinity. And so now you fall into this, I guess, human vessel. You're wrapped into skin and bones and blood. The story of childbirth, right? And you're popped into this. You wake up into this reality, and now you have the ability to say, this is right, this is wrong. This is good, this is bad. This means this means that. Okay? This is all a byproduct of eating of that fruit. Okay? Now, Here's the beautiful thing. You couldn't experience. How would you know? You are pure love, pure prosperity. But how would you get to experience the love that you are without the illusion of separation? You see, we talk about the ego like it's some negative thing. But if you did not have the illusion of separation, how would you experience the love that you are? How would you experience the warm embrace of another, the kind word of another, the feeling of heartbreak, of loss, of betrayal, of love, of reuniting, of losing someone, going back down this path, figuring out who you are, rising in consciousness, and all of a sudden becoming this master reality creator or chooser? How would you understand the love that you are without the illusion of separation? So this is a necessary thing. It's part of your expansion. It's part of source knowing itself as source, coming into the game to remember itself as source. Okay? So humanity's greatest sin was never pride. It was amnesia. When we talk about sin, we're talking about missing the mark. We're not talking about it from a human perspective. Okay? We did not fall from grace because we became too full of ourselves. Okay? We fell because we forgot who the self truly was, which is one of the big things, right? When we talk about this reality creation journey, all roads lead you back to the realization that you are God, that you are source, right? But the falling represents the forgetting of who the true self was. We believe the ego is the true self when God is the true self. The spirit is the true self. All right. In the name of quote unquote false humility, we have made guilt our gospel and smallness our sanctuary. We apologize for existing, running around calling ourselves sinners when God himself declared, let us make man in our image after our likeness. All right. Now here's the question. What arrogance could surpass the divine audacity that said, I will breathe myself into clay and call it human? I'm going to say that one more time. What arrogance could surpass the divine audacity that said, I will breathe myself into clay and call it human? Beautiful. It's absolutely beautiful. Okay? We have confused ego with evil and humility with hiding. The ego, when purified of illusion, is not the enemy of God. It is his chosen instrument of expression. I know. But the ego is just, it's after me and it's doing all these wrong. No, it's not. You wouldn't even be here without the ego. It's not against you. It's not a problem. All right, here's the thing, all right? The problem is never your emotions. I want you to hear this. Especially if your name begins with a Y. I want you to hear this. I know you're watching, all right? The problem is never your emotions. The problem is never your thoughts. Your problem is who you define yourself to be. Okay? Is that we begin to identify with the wrong eye. We identify with the eye of the ego instead of identifying with the eye of God. Simply knowing that the ego is simply a tool. The ego is simply a tool that helps us navigate this world. 100,000 years ago, 100,000 years ago, right? 1,000 years ago, 10,000 years ago, 5,000 years ago, whenever, right? When your ancestors were running around in loincloths, hunting animals, and a lion came out of nowhere and massacred half of the group, it was your ego that said, maybe we should walk. Is that negative? No. It's just trying to help you. This is the same ego that you've went through a couple experiences. Because you forgot who you were at that time. You went through a couple experiences. You started having an assumption that people are like this, that this person is like this. And now when you're in a situation that feels, looks, smells similar, all of a sudden that programmed thought says, I must protect you. Is that bad? No. But it's not you. It's not you. It's not you. It's just a collection of thoughts. And that's fine. It's still a perfect part. Hear this. Your ego is still a perfect part of your human experience. Okay? It's still a perfect part of your human experience. But we believe that it's us against the ego. No, it's not. The ego, you all, right now, I don't care if the ego's been saying something for the last 10 minutes, 10 years, 10 days, 10 months. You right now at this moment can say, yeah, but that's just my ego. I am the power. Therefore, I am prosperity. Therefore, I am love. Therefore, it's all working out no matter what. It has no power. It's simply an alarm. It's simply a mechanism that helps you move through this reality. That's it. It's simply a mechanism that allows you to perceive separation. That way you can experience yourself. Never. It's never been the enemy. It's always been a divine part of you. It's always been a divine part of you. Okay? So here we go. Let me read this one more time. We have confused ego with evil and humility with hiding. The ego, when purified of illusion, is not the enemy of God. It is his chosen instrument of expression. Let me put that in a different way. Okay? Let me make this really make sense. The ego is because you are God. The ego is your chosen instrument of expression. To be made manifest in this reality, you need the mechanism of the ego so you can perceive things a certain way and experience yourself as yourself. It's a perfect divine part of you. It's when we identify with it too much that we go down the path of illusion. But when we don't, we remember that, no, this is who I am. That's just a collection of thoughts. If I know that I am source and my ego is running off and I have these thoughts that feel contradicting, right? Man, I'm reacting, this person, the SP or the money situation looks like this. If I remember that I am source in the middle of it, let me ask you this very honest question. Does that mean that all of a sudden my anxiety will evaporate into nothingness? Does that mean my fear will evaporate into nothingness? Now, while you're answering this question, I want you to realize this. This is not a path, okay? This is not a path of emotional bypassing. Because this is how we start treating manifestation, reality creation, like this path of emotional bypassing. Well, how do I just get through this fear? You get through it. You work through it. One step at a time. One moment at a time. How do I get through this sadness or this depression? The same way that you would get through it if you weren't on this reality creation journey. One step at a time. One moment at a time. This isn't a cheat code. This isn't a way for you to get over your fear in some magical way or to say a couple words to magically pull somebody in your life. Understand? This is a life path, y'all. How do you deal with your emotions like an adult? Like a human being, one step at a time, one moment at a time. You give yourself grace. You realize this is still a perfect part of my expression, but I'm still divine. But I can still get whatever I want, but I can still tell the story of what I want. Do you hear me? Okay, I say this with love. Don't turn this into, I come into the manifesting space and I have to be an emotionless zombie to get what I want. Or I have to feel so good every day to get what I want. And please tell me how to handle my emotions on this manifesting journey. All I hear is tell me how to get through my emotions without actually experiencing them so I can get this other person out there that can finally make me feel good about myself because I have crowned them my God and my reality. You're not required to have perfect emotions, to have a perfect life. And even if you had the perfect life, guess what? You would still have days where you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, and that's fine. Those are the days that allow you to appreciate the beautiful days even more. The days where you wake up and you're like, bruh, I'm just heavy today. Are the days when you wake up and you just are riding that high where you say, this feels good. The last 2 days, right? Today and yesterday, I've been on this high. I've just been feeling like top of the world, right? Am I more God now than I was 3 days ago when I was, I was all right. I really had to take some time this weekend and like re-engage with my thoughts. And here's the thing, I was like, damn, everything is going well. Friday, I made like $40,000 in the market. Family's doing well. Everybody is healing around me. Everything was going right. I just woke up and I felt like something's off. Did that make me less God? Hell no. When I had $0, when the bank account said -40, was I less God? No. I was the same. I was still divine as hell. So are you. When you're sad, when you're happy, you are still God. You are still God. Don't make this a journey of bypassing your emotions. Don't make this a journey of going to war with this sacred part of you. This ego is a sacred part of you that gives you the capacity to experience this life. You could not experience this life without your ego. Don't demonize it. You simply just don't have to identify with it. See it for what it is. See it with love. This is the part of you that was just trying to protect you. This is a part of you that allows you to have a human experience. That's it. Okay? So Meister Eckhart, here's a Meister Eckhart quote, right? The eye with which I see God is the same eye with which God sees me. The eye with which I see God is the same eye with which God sees me. Love that, all right? So here we go. The divine misunderstanding. Religion told you to crucify your ego. Yet the Christ within whispers, I and my Father are one. I and my Father are one. John 10:30. I and my Father are one. What if the goal was never to kill the self, but to sanctify it? Here we go. Here we go. This should give you a different perspective. Because when we say things like, all right, this is not a journey of becoming, this is a journey of remembering. Hopefully this puts this in a different light. What if the goal was never to kill the self, but to sanctify it? How do you sanctify the self, Alex? Well, you already know how to sanctify with your divine ass. You simply remember that you're not the ego. The ego is just a perfect part of you. You are the God. You are the Spirit of God. You are the pure awareness, the consciousness behind that, okay? What if the ego is not a prison, but the prism? You hear that? Okay, here's another good example. What if the ego is not a prison, but the prism through which light refracts into individuality? That is all it is. This is what the ego is. The ego is a prism. Where you take on an identity, the ego is simply a prism that what? Light refracts into individuality. It gives you the perspective. It gives you the individualized view of the world. That's it. Beautiful. This is the holy ego, y'all. The holy ego. I know when I said that, somebody probably rolled their eyes. The holy ego, it's keeping me from my SP. It's okay. It's okay. You still gonna get your SP, right? When you strip away illusion, the ego that seeks to dominate, to be seen, to survive, okay? What remains is holy ego. Identity remembered as divinity. The ego simply gives you the ability to have an individualized experience as all that there is. It is holy. It is a divine component within you. It's absolutely beautiful, divine. Okay? So as Sri Ramana Maharshi said, Sri Ramana Maharshi, Sri Ramana Maharshi, the ego is the root of illusion, but it can also be the doorway to the real when turned inward towards its source. One more time, because you're so damn divine, all right? The ego is the root of illusion. Of course. The ego gives you the ability to perceive separation. So, of course, it's the root of illusion. As God, I manifest into this physical vessel to experience myself. And so I need an ego so I can what? See separation. Because if I am love, how would I experience the love that I am without perceiving separation? Okay, cool. Second part. But it can also be the doorway to the real when turned inward towards its source. Meaning this individualized experience can still give you this beautiful ability to see yourself as God. When I start seeing people as perfect and they change, they morph. When I start seeing myself as perfect and I change, I morph. When I start seeing myself as the prosperity that I seek. And then I can take this individualized look at reality through this quote unquote ego and watch everything simply mold towards me. What is a more beautiful divine experience than this? I know. I love it too. Okay. When the false self bows to the true I, heaven is restored within man. One more time. When the false self bows to the true I, heaven is restored within man. I feel like we're cooking today, all right? So next part, the I that speaks creation. The I that speaks creation. The first word ever spoken by God was not let, right? It was I. Okay, the first word ever spoken was I. Okay, every command that follows, right? And so I know what you're gonna say, right? Well, hold up, Alex. The first word in the Bible is let there be light, right? Okay. The first manifestation of God is I am. It has to be aware of itself to then declare let there be light. All right. So the first manifestation of all that there is to be aware of itself. Is to be aware. Let's just say that not even to be aware of itself, to be aware. I am. All right. So let there be light springs from that eternal subjectivity. Okay. So John 8:58, before Abraham was, I am. Before Abraham was, I am. This is the voice before voices, the awareness before thought, the cause behind creation, right? Because it doesn't say before Abraham was, I was, right? It says before Abraham was, I am, right? I am right here, present moment, right? I am the awareness. I exist. I am the ever-present existence. I am the fabric of reality. I am all that there is, and I am existence itself. Now, what does Abraham actually represent? This is important. What metaphysically does Abraham represent? Remember, before Abraham, there wasn't truly like this Israelite chosen people type deal, right? So Abraham was the father of identity. Abraham was given the promise, you're going to birth a nation. So when Abraham was given this promise, you could say that Abraham became the father of quote unquote duality, the chosen, the unchosen, God's people, the other people, right? So before you had an identity, before the world told you were anything, before you told your damn self you were anything, I am. You were pure awareness. You were all that there is. Now from all that there is, the ego comes after that. Everything comes after that. Okay? So it's that divine remembrance that, yeah, I'm taking this individualized perspective to have a human experience. But before identity, I am. It's remembrance. It's not becoming. You're not becoming God. You're remembering that before Abraham was, I am. Does that make sense? I'm trying to say things in different ways. Okay? This is why you're not becoming God. You can't become God because before Abraham was, I am. Before you had an identity. Before you were told that you were anybody. Before you decided to say, my name is Alex. Before I decided that. Before my parents decided that, right? Before I popped out of my mom's womb. And the doctor tried to smack my ass. But I caught his hand. I told him, nah, we don't need to do that. I'm good. I'm good sir. Right? Before any of that happened, I am. Pure awareness. Right? So this is the voice before voices, the awareness before thought, the cause behind creation. The divine I echoes through every sentient being, whispering, I am the word made flesh. All right. So the mystics of every age have known this. All right. So all these tough ass words to pronounce. Here we go. All right. The Upanishads, okay, declare, I am Brahman. All right. In Sufi mysticism, one of the prophets was executed for crying out, Ana al-Haq, okay, which actually means what? I am the truth. Okay? I am the truth. Remember the same affirmation that Jesus gave. I am the truth. I am the way. I am the truth. I am the life. Right? All pointing back to I am awareness. Right? Jesus wasn't offering. All right. Jesus was not offering himself. as the one. Jesus was not monopolizing the way to God. Okay, this is a religion's construct. Religion monopolizes the way to God. It says the way to God is through this one man. Jesus was pointing towards the conscious way to God. I am is the way. The I am, the Christ within all of us, is the way to the Father. Who I decide that I am, who I declare myself to be, is the way to the Father. Okay? This is the conscious way. I am the way. I am is the conscious way, not the man, but the consciousness. All right? All right, cool. So whenever this prophet, Ana al-Haq, right, said Ana al-Haq, I am the truth, he was not speaking of arrogance, but of divine realization that God lives through the eye that knows itself. God lives through the eye that knows itself. All right. So false humility is rebellion. False humility is rebellion. Okay? To deny your divinity in the name of humility is the highest form of pride. How could that be? How could that be? It is to say, my opinion of me is truer than God's. Every time you shrink, you reject your Creator's reflection. You are God's, Jesus said, quoting the Psalms, and all of you are children of the Most High. Yet man, right, trembles before his own power, bowing not in reverence to the God within him, but in fear. The holy ego does not boast, it remembers. It does not say, I am greater than you, but I am one with all. It moves without comparison, without apology. It wears divinity as its natural skin, right? This is when we talk about that holy humility. Okay, true humility is me accepting that I am the temple of the Most High. I am God. And because I am God, every word I speak is an expression of God. When I look at my brother, my sister, that is an expression of God. When I think of you, I'm thinking of God, right? The way that I choose to see you is the way that I choose to see God. The way that I go within. When I go within, I am communing with God. When I speak, this is the word of God. I am expressing God. What more humility is there than this? But we'll think humility is shrinking ourselves, when really you shrinking yourselves is spitting on the altar of God's creation. See, I know you said it was good, and you said you made me in your image, but no, I choose to take a smaller view. That's false humility. That's the real heresy. That's the real blasphemy right there. All right? So the sacred mirror, Imagine standing before a mirror and calling yourself, imagine standing before a mirror and calling your reflection evil for existing. This is what we have done to the ego. The mirror was never the problem, only the forgetting that you were looking at yourself. God did not create man to erase him. He created man to express himself as him. Let me say that one more time. Imagine standing before a mirror and calling your reflection evil for existing. What you do when we sit around acting like we're fighting the ego. You're not fighting the ego. The ego is simply a perfect part of you, helping you to actually have this human experience. Right? As the Bhagavad Gita reminds us, my bad, it's been a long day, y'all. He who sees in action, and action in inaction, he is wise among men. The ego, when seen clearly, becomes translucent, a vessel and not a veil. Right? So awakening the I am. I think this is the last part. Then we got some reflection questions and a nice love letter to y'all. All right. So awakening the I am. When Jesus said, I am the way, the truth, and the life, John 14:6, right? He was not referring to his personality. Seems to be a common misconception, right? He was not referring to his personality. Okay. He was speaking as the eternal I am, the God consciousness available to all who awaken. To follow him is to awaken that same I am within yourself until there is no separation between seeker and source. Ego purified becomes identity sanctified. It is not about being less of you. It is about being more truly you. It is not about being less of you. It is about being more truly you until the mask dissolves and God stands revealed. Beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. All right, so we got 3 reflection questions. 3 reflection questions. Okay. Number 1. Number 1, okay. Where have I truly, okay? Let me say that again. Where have I mistaken false humility for holiness? Where have I been playing small, not accepting what I want as my divine birthright, not accepting myself as source, as the creator? Where? Appreciate you, John. Appreciate you. Where have I mistaken false humility for holiness? Okay, number 2. What parts of myself have I crucified that were never meant to die? This is a question about the ego. Okay. What parts of myself have I crucified that were never meant to die, only to be made divine? Let me put it like that. What parts of myself have I crucified that were never meant to die, only to be made divine? I could feel jealousy or fear and say, oh no, this is just my ego trying to keep me safe based on what I've experienced in the past. But there is no past. There's only right now, and right now I choose to tell the story that I am one with everything I desire, and it's all unfolding perfectly. And I still appreciate this perfect part of me for simply trying to protect me. Or do you make it this tug of war? As if this ego is this evil part of you trying to, and the more that you resist it, guess what? The more it fights. And the more you enter this tug of war with yourself. And you don't have to do that. You don't have to do that. Okay? And number 3, how does my I express God in motion today? How does my I, right? How does my I, the letter I, or I, whatever you want to talk about, how does my I express God in motion today? Oops, my bad, y'all. How does my I express God in motion today? Okay, so I got a love letter for y'all. All right, this is from me to me, but this is from me to me, but read it as if it's from you to yourself. Okay, divine remembrance of who you always been. Let's get to it. Here we go. This is a short and sweet one. You have spent years trying to be less loud, less certain, less radiant, believing that smallness was holiness and humility meant disappearing. But hear me now. God did not create you to vanish. You are not meant to shrink before the light. You are the light remembering itself. The ego is never your enemy, only the part of you that forgot its source. It grasped for power because it forgot it was power. It chased love because it forgot it was love. And now you remember, not as a concept, but as a living truth breathing in your chest. Let every mask fall gently from your face. Let every version of you built on apology return to dust. You do not need to become less human to be more divine. You do not need to become less human to be more divine. The sacred lives through your individuality, through your voice, and through your I. Ego purified is not death, it is resurrection. It is the self bowing to the self until they are one and the same. Walk as that union, speak as that truth, and let the words I am echo through every cell until nothing remains but awareness clothed in flesh. Walking, breathing, and declaring, God stands revealed as me. I am that I am, right? No matter what. Okay, cool. What would change if you began to treat your ego like your inner child instead of your enemy? What would change if you began to treat your quote-unquote ego like your inner child instead of your enemy? What would change if you began to see your ego as a part of you that loved you so much it was just trying to keep you safe, but you don't have to listen to it anymore? What would change if you finally woke up to the fact that this is not my enemy, this is a perfect part of me, this is the child within me trying to keep me safe? What would happen if you turned into that loving parent and simply stood in the awareness that, I am source? It doesn't have any power. It's simply trying to get my attention and trying to help me. This is all it is. Stop demonizing a part of you that loves you. Stop demonizing a part of you that is you. You are holy and perfect in all ways, all parts of you. Okay? Say this with pure love, right? Treat yourself with pure love. You no longer have to run from any part of you. You couldn't even have this human existence, this human experience without that beautiful part of you. Okay? You are already everything that you desire to be right now. The ego is just trying to help you. It's not trying to stop you from anything. It can't stop you from anything. It's just trying to help you. Reparent yourself. The same way, if you're in the middle of the night, your child ran up to you and it was anxious. They were anxious because of something that they thought was going to happen tomorrow. And their little heart was beating and they felt fear, frustration, all right? You wouldn't tell them to get out of your face. You wouldn't affirm them away, would you? You would give them the grace. You would tell them it would be okay. You would remind them of the truth. The truth is that you got this. The truth is it's already done. The truth is I believe. I believe. The truth is I already know that it's done. Okay? Stop demonizing this part of you. Stop. Okay? You don't have to do that anymore. Huh? I am that I am, right? No matter what. So a couple of affirmations. We got 5. 5 short and sweet. Real short and sweet, okay? Just like some of y'all's SPs. All right, so anyways, 5 affirmations, okay? Remember, you're not trying to be these. This is divine remembrance of who you have always been, okay? Number 1, I am not the shadow of God. I am his self-expression in form. Yeah, you like that one. No, he's not. No, he's not. I am not the shadow of God. I am his self-expression in form. Oh, I'm the expression of God. I am the word of God. I am the law of God, right? I am the temple of God. I am all of that. It's your divine ass, all right? I do not bow before smallness. I rise as remembrance. I do not bow before smallness. I rise as remembrance. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. Okay? The I in me and the I in God are one eternal flame. The I in me and the I in God are one and the same. However you want to put it, the I in me and the I in God are one eternal flame burning together. Remember who you are. Remember who you are. Number 4, all right? My ego is not my enemy. It is the altar through which God meets the world. I know you like that one. I love that. I felt that when I said it again. My ego is not my enemy. It is the altar through which God meets the world. We reframing the ego today, the holy ego. You know, when I first said that, somebody was probably like, the holy ego? You mean the same ego keeping me from my SP? They hated Alex. So last but certainly not least, okay? I remember who I am, and creation remembers me. I remember who I am, and creation remembers me. Beautiful, beautiful. I can be your SP. I can do that. I can grant you that honor. I remember who I am, and creation remembers me. I remember that I am no matter what. You are already everything that you desire to be. Everything. Okay? Remember who you are. Walk in that divine remembrance of who you are. Start treating your ego truly. Look at your ego. This is your inner child. They're along on the ride. This is the altar through which God meets the world. God meets the world through your ego. It is your individualized expression. It's simply the prism that light bends through to give you an individualized perspective of yourself so you can experience yourself. It is holy. It is divine. You can't kill it anyway. If you kill it, you can't have this human experience anymore. So why not reframe it? Okay? It's no longer the enemy. You don't have an enemy. There's nothing against you. Right? So when we have these discussions, right, it's meant to dissolve all of these boundaries, all of these quote unquote limitations that make you feel like anything's against you. Right? We've had long discussions on the subconscious mind. There's no subconscious mind against you. There's only one mind. We simply start believing in separation. And from a human perspective, we want to start naming all these things: the superconscious, subconscious, unconscious, conscious. There is one mind. If your belief in the subconscious mind makes you think that you have to travel through time to reprogram something so finally a dark part of you can accept that you are that person, well, then it's a limiting belief. You shouldn't go down that route. Right? There's only right now. There's only who you choose to be right now. You don't have to reprogram anything. You simply need to decide. You simply need to decide who you are. Okay, we've talked about the ego, the subconscious mind. We've talked about nervous system regulation. We've talked about all of these things. How the techniques don't stop anything. It's always pointing you back to this divine remembrance that you are the power. That you're not even powerful. You're all powerful. Powerful is an understatement. You're all powerful. You are absolutely perfect. And you already have everything that you want. You already have everything that you want, okay? We're going to start talking about time a little bit more as well. We're going to start talking about the unfolding of time, because time is another thing that we constantly look at like it's keeping us away from something. But time is just an experience. You have become what you want right now. Time is simply the experience that you walk through to meet yourself. You're not even really walking through it. It's unfolding. You're staying in the same place. You're just in the void. You have the illusion of moving around through this. But really, every moment is simply a frame of light. Okay? Bent in front of you. Every moment is simply a frame of light. All bent up, giving you this still image. And you walk through infinite moments every second. And so how to get from this moment to the moment where everything is actualized in this reality, we call that linear time. But it's really supposed to be an experience to be enjoyed. So we're going to start breaking down time. Okay, we're going to start breaking down time. What should I do in the unfolding? I don't know. It's already done. You should enjoy the unfolding. You should observe the unfolding. You should judge everything as perfect during the unfolding. You should have fun during the unfolding. You should date them all during the unfolding. You should simply exist in love, in the knowing that it's done, in the celebration that it's done. Okay? Cool, y'all. All right? We have no enemy. The only enemy is the illusion that we create up here. Right? We create the illusion of enemies. We outpicture God and then we outpicture an opposition of God. We say God is all that there is, but then we think of God outside of ourselves. But if he's outside of you, he can't be all that there is. That means he's all that there is except for you. So God is all that there is, omnipresent. And then we say, well, God is all that there is, but there's a devil against God. No, there's not. There's simply all that there is. There's simply infinity. And there's you walking through life as infinity, because it can't be divided. Where a piece of infinity is, all of infinity must be there. For a piece of all that there is, for a piece of God to be there, for a piece of God, wherever a piece of God, a quote unquote fragment of God is, all of God must be there. God can't be divided. All right? So you're walking through this life as God, confronting yourself as God. All right? We're gonna get you to oneness. Okay? We're gonna get you to oneness. Is that if there is a devil, then the devil is also God. Like I said, there's only all that there is. There is only God. Right? There's only prosperity and love and wealth and all of those things. Us seeing anything else is just us being so powerful that we can create that illusion. We can stand in that knowing that I am God. And if I am God, that means I can tell the story of lack and I can experience the illusion of lack in my life. All right. So yeah. I thought this one was going to last a little bit longer. I thought I was going to take a little bit more time, but I didn't. But I'm cool with that. Oh, that's cool. Yeah. Do whatever you want with the affirmations. If you want to switch them up, cool. Do that. Do what feels good to you, right? I'm not going to stop y'all from saying affirmations however you want. That's the power of them, right? Is these are frameworks. These are powerful to me. Doesn't mean they're going to be powerful to you, right? You might want to change some things up, which is fine. That's why these documents are all yours, okay? This reality is all yours. What kind of questions y'all got? Appreciate you, Shelly. Appreciate you, Jordan. Michael Jordan. I'm sure you've never heard that one before. Appreciate you, Lex. Appreciate you, La Luna. I actually have a vibration thermometer right here for you. I'll be selling these. It's a vibration thermometer right here. So, it's a size I think a lot of y'all can enjoy. This nice vibration thermometer. Okay. So how to use this. Okay. This is actually the medium size. I know some of y'all are crazy out there, right? It's actually the medium. And how you work this, okay? How you work this is there's a beeper that you attach to the end, okay? It's a beeper you attach to the end. You turn it to the other side. You can use, it comes with a baby oil pack. And you shove this up your ass. And when you're in alignment, it starts beeping for you, okay? So you'll always know if you're in vibration, in alignment, in perfect frequency with whatever you want. Right, you ask for it, you gotta put it on the Amazon shop for your ass. All right. That's wild. No, this is it's a muscle. It's one of those, you rub your muscles out with it. Today I was squatting. In case some of y'all fumble y'all's SPs. Some of my guys, in case some of y'all brothers, y'all start fumbling your SPs, or you start acting crazy in my comment section. Well, that's what y'all don't know is when y'all start leaving those comments. I know I do response videos. One of the other things I do when people leave comments I don't like is I go look for their girl and go in their DMs. I gotta stay squatting so I can, lift them. That's what I do. Make sure I'm alive. That is wild. Of course, I can't hit me in a DM, girl. Yeah, you can get in whatever color. I can get it in a pasty pink. You know what I'm saying? You can get it in a more tannish color. You can get it in a summer tan, a pasty pink. You know what I'm saying? You can get a winter white. You can get that vibranium chocolate colored if you want. You can get whatever you want. You got this. That's what I'm talking about, Miss Pre-Alchemist. That's what I'm talking about. Look, the world is your stage. Everywhere that you walk is your runway. You're always practicing. You're always playing around with reality. You're always shifting reality. It's always you. Right? Perfect. You get the vibration, the vibrating extension too. One of them comes with the extra. I don't know why. One of them comes with like an extra finger on it. Like it comes with. I don't know why they do that. Maybe some of y'all know, but it's like a little extra finger on it. Crazy. I don't know why they do certain things these days like that. Dang, some of y'all getting real lonely without y'all SPs. I can't wait till y'all get y'all shit together. God damn. That's solar charger. We're environmentally friendly over here. So it's a solar charger. All right? Solar charger. Can't wait till some of y'all get y'all SPs. Man. My goodness. You don't really want to be in alignment. Alex, it's been 6 months. Please send me the alignment thermometer. Right. You're all ready to fulfill me. I'm about to break no contact. I've had enough. Yeah, I had enough. I've had enough divine isolation. I've had enough divine isolation. I need the divine, the divine what? What, Cookie, why you always call me Alexa? When you first did it, I thought it was a typo. But now I always see it and I'm like, who is this Alexa? Just adding this extra syllable for nothing. Alexa don't even sign. Cause you know I'm the second. Never mind, I was about to give y'all too much information. Yeah, that's a whole lot of typos now, Cookie. You've been typoing that shit over and over and over again. It's a typo. No, it's not. You've been intentionally putting that A at the end. You ain't gotta lie to me. Lie to your SP. Don't lie to me. Lie to your SP. You ain't got to lie to your boy. All right, I'm understanding. I'm not the one you're trying to get back. Shit. All right, here we go. So, what kind of affirmation? So, my affirmations are generic. So, like when I work out, I say affirmations. When I run, I say how to trick your SP to get you money. Tricking is crazy. All right. So in the morning when I work out, I don't listen to music. I don't listen to anything. I speak affirmations in my mind, right? But the affirmations that I speak are basically general affirmations simply about me. They're about just divine recognition. And yeah, I'll talk about frequency and getting in alignment. I'll do that. Let me see how much battery I got. Oh, we good. I got 11%. So they're more so about just me remembering who I am, right? I'm source. I am all that there is, right? It depends whatever I'm going through that day, whatever I feel like in that morning, right? But it's typically just a freestyle of affirmations. I don't affirm for really specific things. Like I don't affirm for a certain dollar amount. I don't affirm for a certain dollar amount. I don't affirm for certain things these days. Now I used to, don't get me wrong. I'm not above that at all. I've just haven't had something that I've truly felt like I've needed in a long time. Now here's another thing is that me knowing that I'm source, knowing that I'm God, right? From that remembrance, knowing that you are the fulfillment, the desire is enough. My desire is my prayer because I simply know that's God giving me a promise. So I just accept the desires. I don't really go around thinking too much about what I want, what I don't want. If something sparks me to have a desire, whether it's through just something shows up and I like that, or if it's even a situation I don't like that just gives me clarity on what I want, I simply choose to accept the desire as the promise, right? And that's it. So I don't really affirm a lot. Now here's the thing though, because I was asked the question, it was the difference between simply knowing that you're God, right? And then how is that actually going to get you what you want? Well, great question. Absolutely beautiful question, right? It's one of the questions that I was having on this journey as well was, all right, cool. It's one thing for me to say I'm all that there is, I'm God. But how is that going to get me this woman? How is that going to give me this money? You know what I'm saying? That's all cool, Alex. That information is nice. But how is that going to give me that money? Well, how do you define being all that there is? This is why even when we say I am all that there is, I am God, I'm source, right? One thing I always say after that is the aspects of God are what? Prosperity, love, peace, fulfillment, joy, all the things. All those things that you desire are attached to God. And so my remembrance of who I am is an automatic affirmation of all those things because I associate all those things with source. You know what I'm saying? So are you remembering who you are purely from vocabulary? I am God. Or are you actually remembering who you are? That's the difference. Okay? And then let's talk about vibration, fulfillment, alignment, getting the vibration and alignment, all those things. It's a scam. You thinking you have to get in vibration or alignment with anything is an absolute scam, and it's just going to keep you trapped. Let's really think about this. Okay, I'm going to break this down in a different way. Probably not. I'm going to break this down the same way I've always broken it down, but just, take a different direction. Now, right now, if you know that you are the incarnation of God, the Spirit of God chose your divine ass to manifest within you. You just popped up out of nowhere. Oh, God. Okay? You are the vibration of God. God is all that there is. Okay? You're the vibration of God. God is all that there is. Okay? So now, even Scripture will tell you, seek ye first the kingdom, and all these things will be added unto you. Right? What does the kingdom mean? What does seek ye first the kingdom means? Well, even Jesus said the kingdom is within you. So everything is already within you. This goes back to what I was just talking about. The remembrance, seeking the kingdom is simply seeking the remembrance that you are all that there is. Remembering that you're all that there is. That's it. All right? So if I'm all that there is, I'm always in vibration. I'm always in vibratory alignment. I'm always in alignment. How could I not be? I am the wish fulfilled of God. I'm the manifest. I'm all that there is already. So when I start thinking about alignment, now I want you to, let's be honest, okay? If you're walking around, how do you know if you're in alignment? Most of the time, okay, some old guy was on the TV and they were telling you, stay in alignment. And you got to be the alignment with prosperity. Even though they made all their money in 1922 when houses were 5 cents a piece. But all of a sudden, it's find this alignment. Now, you heard that, and now you decided to walk through life and you felt bad one day. You said, oh, I must not be in alignment. So now you started saying, I'm not in alignment. What made you not in alignment? It wasn't the feeling. It was the statement. The feeling is just a natural part of your human experience. Even if you had money, you wouldn't feel good all the time. So feeling good can't be the vibration of money. Feeling good is just feeling good. Feeling good is just meant to be enjoyed. Feeling bad does not mean that you're doing bad. It doesn't mean that you're less God. Feeling bad just means you feel bad. That's it. But it doesn't matter what you're going through. It doesn't matter what you feel. It doesn't matter what you see. Who do you say you are? This is Jesus when he was talking to his disciples. He was saying, who do they say I am? Who do you say I am? He says, some say that you're this prophet. Some say you're this. Some say you're that. Some say you're this. Some say you're that. And then he cut through the bullshit because they were simply defining him by what the external world was saying. The external world made me sad, so I'm saying that I'm out of alignment. The external world looks like the bills are piling up, so I'm saying that I'm lack. So Jesus cut through that bullshit. No. But who do you say I am? Who do you say you are? Who do you say that I am in this moment? I don't care how you feel. Who do you say you are? I don't care what you see out there. Who do you say you are? When we start buying too much into vibration and frequency and alignment, we start emotionally bypassing. We start saying, oh, I can't feel bad because I want that little funky ass SP to come back into my life. So let me make sure I feel good today. Oh, I'm having all these negative thoughts and I can't control my mind. Who said you had to? Who said you had to sit around and play tug of war with your mind all day? Who said you had to sit around and play tug of war with your emotions all day? Your thoughts and your feelings. All right, let me put it in a different way. I love when I'm just going down this path and all of a sudden it's just like, let me say it in a different way. Your thoughts and emotions are already manifestations. They're not the creation, all right? The creating power, the creative power within you is I am. Emotions and thoughts are simply things that flow through you. They're things. They're manifestations that flow through you. Manifestations of energy, manifestations of reactions, of whatever the case may be. When do they create? They create when you create based off of them. So they don't create by themselves. By themselves, they just are. By themselves, your thoughts just are. By themselves, your emotions just are. They are already manifestations. Your emotions and your thoughts are no different than the circumstances out there. They're no different than anything outside of you. Okay? They're not truly you. What is you is I am. Everything else is a manifestation. Right? And manifestations don't create unless you base yourself. You judge yourself based on that manifestation. Does that make sense? They're not the source. Emotions and thoughts are not the source. They are created. They are manifestations. They're not creating. They're created. You are the creating. I am is the creating. And so when you stand in that knowing of I am, I am, all right? And then you let all of those other things just be out there and you get to choose and identify who you are through those things. Now you can experience whatever emotion. Now you can simply say, okay, well, yeah, of course my thoughts. This is my ego. This is that inner child. Just reacting based off what it thought we were going to experience based on the past and all those things. But who do I say that I am? Okay, but who do I say that I am? Okay? Exactly. They're neutral, like everything. Everything is neutral. The circumstance is neutral, right? You're simply a blank slate. When you walk into a room full of people, it's a blank slate. And you walk in, and guess what walks in with you? Your assumptions. You say, I just feel like they're judging me. You know what? I just felt really good when I walked in there and I thought everything was going to work. You're the one who brings your assumption. Before you walked in, this room it did not exist. It was just an empty shell. It means nothing. But you walk in not with God. You walk in as God and you give meaning to everything. You say, okay, Boom. All of a sudden, your story animates everything. Everything becomes that all-seeing eye that is looking at you and saying, who do you say we are? And you say, okay, cool. You are, this is how you treat me. Women treat me well. Women treat me like God. All right? But my boss, he's cheap on the check. And these customers, they're always bitching and complaining. You are handing out slips, the script to everybody. And here, this is what you're going to do. This is who you're going to be. And then you look at it and you say, situation's just not working out. Or you say, it doesn't matter. The situation might not look ideal, but the God within me is perfect, so the situation is unfolding perfectly. Either way, you're right. Everything is meaningless. It's just an empty nothing until you walk in and you start giving it meaning. What's the beautiful part about this, right? Which is also the part that can upset us the most in the beginning, is that, okay, if it's all me, it's all me. If it's all me, it's all my fault. But if it's all my fault, that means I don't have to try to change anybody. I don't have to try to change anything. I can simply choose. I can simply choose myself. Like, it's that Matrix scene when Neo walks in to go talk to the Oracle. And there's this little kid, right? The kid is bending that spoon. He's bending that spoon. He says, he gives the spoon to Neo and he says, try not to bend the spoon, right? It's impossible. What does the spoon represent? The external world, the external circumstances, that person you want, the money you want. Try not to bend the spoon. It's impossible. Instead, only try to realize the truth that there is no spoon. Then you will see it's not the spoon that bends, it's you. Simply try to realize the truth that there is no person out there. There is no situation out there. There's only you. Then you'll see when you start to change the way that you look at things and view things, perceive yourself, everything changes, as cliche as that sounds. But when we're too infatuated with the mirror, trying to change the mirror, fight with the mirror, wrestle with the mirror, struggle with the mirror, beg the mirror, plead the mirror, right? It would be like you walking past the bathroom in your house and seeing somebody in the mirror trying to argue with their shirt to change. They're arguing with their reflection to change. This is the way you look when you're trying to argue with the mirror. We are trying to argue with your SP to change. Even the world is even hip to that. The world will tell you straight up, you can't change people. You can't. You're right. There's nothing to change. You can't change anything. But you can choose whatever you want. You can choose whatever version of whoever you want. You can choose whatever version of yourself that you want. And everything then fades away. Every version of someone that you don't want fades away. And the version of them that you want steps forward. But you can't change anyone when you try to go and do it in physical reality. Drive yourself crazy trying to change somebody. Girl, you can't raise a man. Girl, you can't raise a man. You can't change him, girl. He's no good. You're right, he's not. You can't change him. That version of him exists, has a right to exist. That version of him is God. But when you actually begin to see people, here's the thing, though. Here's the magic, right? When you begin to give yourself permission to see people the way that you want to see them, when you begin to give yourself permission to love people the way that you want to love them, guess what happens? They receive the energetic space to actually step forward in this beautiful, more divine version of themselves. The version of themselves that you actually want. See not by appearance. Judge not by appearance, but judge by righteous judgment. When you begin, when you choose, when you give yourself the permission to look at people through the eyes of devotion. When I look at you, I see God. When I look at you, I see the vessel of God. I see the temple of God. I see the dwelling place of the Most High. And whatever is in front of me right now, I simply go with it, knowing that I see you as perfect. And so you must come forward as perfect. This is manifesting SP in a nutshell, right? I think that was a major gem that I just gave you right there. Matter of fact, you might want to rewind that shit and screen record it and play it before you go to sleep. When you choose to see people through the eyes of devotion, I see God within you. I see you as God. I give myself permission to see you the way that I want to see you, which is God. You love them, right? Allow yourself to actually see them through the eyes of love. And guess what? The most beautiful version of them steps forward. And even the world will have some phrases that are like, begin to love people unconditionally and see how the most beautiful version of them steps forward. I remember seeing that on a meme like a year ago, and I was like, that's interesting. It's interesting how it wasn't even a metaphysical person saying that. It wasn't a metaphysical person saying that shit at all, but it was a very metaphysical saying. People are only, here's the thing, y'all. And of course, this might sound a little cold and harsh, but it is what it is, all right? People are only empty vessels carrying around your assumptions. People are just empty vessels carrying around your assumptions. And if your assumption right now is it's gotten worse, then that's what it is. You have the ability right now to choose that it doesn't matter what I'm seeing, it's always getting better. Or to say it doesn't matter what I'm seeing, it's always getting worse. You have the ability to say that, to decide that, to choose that. You have all the power, y'all. You're not a victim. None of you are victims. You can't be, you never have been a victim. It's impossible for you to be a victim. You are God. The only things you experience in your life are the things that you give yourself permission to experience. That's it. You give yourself permission to experience these different things because you continuously decide that this is who you are and this is what you'll experience. And you won't take a stand for yourself. Love yourself. Give yourself the permission to see people the way you want to see them. Look at life through the eyes of devotion. It cannot go wrong because I can see no wrong. Even when it looks wrong, it cannot go wrong. It must go right. You are an absolutely limitless being. You are God pretending to be human, trying to be God again. When all you have to do is remember that you're God. You are God pretending to be a human, trying to be God again, when all you have to do is remember that you are God. Because just the trying to be God, the trying to affirm for them, the trying to visualize is the affirmation that you're not it. But you are it. And all you have to do is rest into that ease, right? It's that Psalm 46:10 that says, be still and know that I am God, that I always quote it, and that you should take very literally. But one of the translations of that is cease striving and know that I am God. Cease striving and know that I am God. Cease striving and know that I am God. Just cease striving and know. And let me put this in perspective, because sometimes I'll say one thing and it seems like it hits for certain things but not others. So let me put this very, very clearly, okay? Cease striving to fix your ego when it's the perfect part of you. It's just it's simply the vessel. It's the altar through which God experiences itself. The ego is the mechanism through which God can finally see itself, right? Stop trying to fix yourself. Stop trying to fix your emotions and simply know that you are God and you can choose. Stop trying to be God and just know that you don't have to try to be God. You are God. Stop trying to affirm until you feel it true and just know that it's done. Know that you are God. Stop trying to visualize until you feel like you've done it right. And just know that it's done. This is the only thing this is the only thing, if you really challenge yourself, this is the only thing that you have been waiting for. This is the only thing you've been waiting for. You've been waiting for a moment to know. And the only person that can give you permission to know is yourself. You've been waiting for something outside to prove to you. The next technique to prove to allow you to know. The next discussion to let something sink in so you'll know that it's done and I'm God and it's done. We're always waiting for the next thing, the next thing, the next thing. You give yourself permission, cease striving, and simply know that I am God. You have all the power. You have all the power. All the power. You are not alone. You've never been alone. You've never been unsupported. You've never been unloved. You've never been unworthy. You've never been behind. You've never been in lack. You've never been any of these things. You have always been the perfect manifestation of God. And you've always been unconditionally supported in whatever you decide that you want to be. Stop pretending to be anything less than who you really are. Stop pretending. Stop pretending to be in lack. Stop pretending to not be pure love. Stop pretending to not be pure prosperity. Prosperity is not something reserved for other people. No one can ever be closer to God than you, because you are God. No one can ever be closer to God than you. Prosperity is not for other people. Love is not for other people. Love is yours. It's your divine birthright. You deserve. When people walk in your life, you deserve to have a celebration of the overflowing of love that you are. When opportunities come into your life, you deserve for all of those opportunities to be a celebration of the overflowing of prosperity and abundance that you already are. God has never been far away. We've simply been perceiving God as far away. What does the Quran say, right? Allah is closer to you than your jugular. And God is closer to you than your breath, closer to you than you are to yourself. You deserve everything because you are everything. Stop making this a case, a competition for worthiness. Who, by a human standard, who is worthy of anything? You're worthy of everything simply by right of consciousness. Is your heart beating right now? That is proof of your worthiness, of your utter, absolute, unconditional worthiness to receive whatever you want. Okay? Whatever you want. Love y'all. Okay? Love y'all, love y'all, love y'all. How do you keep your assumptions positive when you grow more and more anxious as time goes by, I'm assuming? Well, all right. Like I was saying earlier, y'all, don't turn this journey into an emotional bypassing ceremony, okay? How you handle your anxiety or your frustration or your fear, your doubt or worry is the same way that you would handle them if you were on any other path. It's one moment at a time, one step at a time, with compassion, with grace, with love for yourself, knowing that it's just a perfect part of your human experience and this too shall pass. That's it. But while you're going through all of that, you can still remind yourself that you are source, you are perfect, and everything is always working out for you. That's it. That's it. Keep surrendering. Just keep surrendering, Alyssa. But here's the thing, y'all. This is not like we're not here to heal your anxiety overnight just so you can get some SP. Do you hear how that sounds, right? Oh, I need to just bypass my emotions because my emotions are keeping me from getting this SP. Love yourself, y'all. This is a perfect part of your human experience. You're not required to have perfect emotions to have a perfect life. Just remember who you are and walk through reality. And as the anxiety comes up, one step at a time, one day at a time, one moment at a time, with love, with compassion, knowing that anxiety is just there trying to protect you. It's your inner child. It's simply your inner child. Okay? But you got this. All right, you got this. All right, y'all, I got a consult to go to. But love y'all. Okay. Love y'all. And probably talk to y'all again tomorrow. Yeah, probably talk to y'all. Tuesdays are kind of longer days for me because my mom. I'll talk to y'all. Talk to y'all soon. All right. I love y'all, and remember that you are God. Okay, you are God. Hopefully today's discussion helped you see the ego in a different light. Right? It's not your enemy. All right. Peace, abundance, my brother. Right back at you. Peace and abundance to my guys and my goddesses. All right. Peace.